Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back with another Hearthstone live stream. Today is February 19th, one day from the demonetization. YouTube hasn't backed down on that, and I assume they're not. If anything, I feel like they're probably going to get even more restrictive. So if my channel ever did manage to get the say 800 more, 780 more subscribers that they want, they probably would have moved the goalpost even at that point. So no longer do I really think I care about that, and that certainly has been demoralizing. We've talked about it a lot. I can't trade this on the Asian account, which kind of sucks. So we've got some Overload cards to play and some Priest Class cards. Let's see if we can do that. There was this like Mega Tavern Brawl thing that they're going to introduce. I guess they haven't done it yet. I don't think I really want to play it, however. I feel like that's probably a waste of time. So we got some Priest cards. The Steam Lunar sale happened, and while because of having to buy tires of all stupid things, didn't actually buy any games, it was still very helpful to, well, go ahead and play ranked. It was helpful for me to go through the motions like I was buying things. There was like the Kane and Lynch combo that I was thinking about buying, and then I fell asleep and woke up today and the sale was over, so oops on that. It seems like with Steam's newest update, trying to get to the games that you are following but not wishlisted is incredibly difficult. It took me like 15 minutes trying to browse through the Steam interface to find games you follow, and I'll probably have to do the exact same amount every other time, like every other instance in which I need to go back to following. I'm shifting away games that are free to play to the following list, and things that just won't ever work on YouTube right now. So mainly the visual novels that are hyper anime and say straight up that they have nudity in them. There's probably a wider group of visual novels that are still on the wish list that probably don't have the fully English voiced requirement that I kind of feel the need. Feel like I need to demand that too. Also, there's a ordering to to the Steam list, which with now 1,800 games, it was 2,000, so I took out about 170 by sorting through it, looking at games, thinking to myself, do I really want this, or am I just thinking I want it? Well, this isn't gonna work.
Right away.
So, yeah, there's a lot of games I looked at and I thought to myself, you know what, I don't want to move my channel into a direction of just irritating myself and punishing myself, or at the very least, if this is the new, if I'm trying to curate an audience that will support me through game donations, I prefer them to punish me and force me to play bad games, not directly ask people to do that. So if somebody knows of a terrible game that they want me to cover for some reason. And there are some bad games that should be covered, but as I was looking through the wish list, I'm thinking to myself, a lot of this is just not culturally relevant. There's a game called Virginia that's only a couple years old. It's barely a game. It barely lets you do anything as far as the controls, and I just don't think it's worth people's time to play that game. I could have healed this guy and gotten him more powerful. So, yeah, Virginia is a great example of a game, too, that's way overpriced. It's $10 by default. It was 90% off for 99 cents, but if it's barely a game and it has blocky 3D animation, like, reviews of Virginia particularly are like, this isn't even a walking simulator, and it's tagged as a walking simulator, because you're not really even walking. It is perhaps only slightly more interactive than the fact that you can watch a TV show and hit the pause button if you have a DVR. Like, that's seems to be the level of their quality of interaction in the game. Cast more spells. Go ahead and play this. There's also been several other things. Unknown Gamer came on the chat, said hello, and then he said A3L, which I don't know what that means. Whether that's supposed to be all or not. Hello all. Hello Unknown Gamer. Sorry I didn't respond a little bit quicker there. Can I do all of these? I think I can. This, and this. Job done. And then end the turn. Man, that is a nice combination. I don't know if this is a consistent thing to play, but that is a nice combination on its face. A3L is Arma 3 life game. So are you recommending that to me? Is that it? Oh, I'll look at it. As I was covering games in the wishlist for the Steam sale, there was a couple of games that people have recommended to me, Ruse and Bomber Crew. That I remember that stuff. It's just knowing myself, sometimes I see some of these recommendations and I know they're not personally for me, where they might be very popular amongst just general gamers, or perhaps just my fans. But there's a lot of things that I don't even want to give a fair shake to. Let's see. Arma 3 life. Let's look it up right now. Because I need to be on my Twitter page on my second screen anyways. So Arma. Let's see. I've heard of the Arma, like the Arma series of games, but I've never heard of Arma 3 Life. Store 4 to the hero. Hero's not hurt. Deal 2 damage. I could deal 2 damage and deal 2 damage here. Or I could just hit the face.
I am the blade of the gods.
A hardcore role-player server owned and managed by Real Life Studios. Being a civilian on Arma 3 Life is really up to you. So it is some kind of like combination of Second Life and Arma. Let's see. It's some kind of
reporting for duty.
Some kind of mod. Wish I had one more spell to play, but I don't.
I can't do that.
I guess I just need to remember that I'm just playing cards right now. Seems pretty popular. Let's see. The thing that I guess I'm missing is I don't have a full understanding of what Arma 3 is. Yeah, I was thinking Arma is kind of like this World War II, no, maybe modern military shooter game, tanks and shooting. It's Arma 3 alone on Steam is rated positive. And I would see the thing that kills me here is there's a couple of major stoppers with a suggestion like Arma 3 Life for me. One, it's a mod, so that's weird. I've never covered mods on my channel, and if I was gonna really go in the mods, I'd probably focus, at least at the beginning, on some very well-known mods for Skyrim or Fallout. Like, that's where my level of knowledge is as far as the variety of mods are. 2, Arma 3 is a military game, and I just don't play first-person shooter military games. And 3, it's one, because it's a military game, it's often heavily focused on multiplayer, and I don't really play multiplayer games. Like, I guess the best way to take my level of liking of first-person shooters is the only time I've really enjoyed first-person shooter games is something like Borderlands, when it adds some crazy silliness into it, it adds RPG mechanics, it adds a bunch of things that I fully admit you wouldn't want in a pure first-person shooter, where the point of the game is to be using a keyboard and mouse, which I don't like to play with keyboard and mouse controls, and sniping people with your awesome sniping shooting skills, which I probably don't have. And when you get to a game that's Arma 3, I kind of have to wonder, do I want to go back and play the previous Armas? Arma 2 is on Steam, Arma Cold War Assault is on Steam, DayZ comes up as something else also developed by the same company, Certainly have heard of that. There's a lot of communities that build around in PC gaming, I think, that they get into one game, one shooting game, and they never stop playing it. Probably until at least their friends stop playing it, and that could be you get into a game in junior high and your friends stop playing it maybe when they're hitting their mid-20s and starting to get married and having kids. But thanks for the suggestion. I do need to check out games. I do need to give them thoughts.
Give me strength.
The light shall bring victory.
Because I would like to broaden myself certain ways, but I honestly don't want to just also enter into playing a game that I'm going to complain about throughout the whole time. I'm playing Assassin's Creed Revelations right now, and I'm struggling very much to even finish or record the game because it's the 4th Assassin's Creed game I've played probably in 30 years, and it's so repetitive, and Revelations is one of the worst. Well, that's hard to say in the Assassin's Creed series because there's probably 60% of the games are pretty bad in that series. And so throughout covering all of that, I'm pretty negative in every episode. A game like Armor might also, let's say a miracle happened and I found some innate ability to play the game. It might also not work very well for my channel because I can't talk and criticize over it. I could see there being a high level of attention needed to play a game like that. But I don't want to keep on banging on Armor. Thanks for the suggestion. I'll take all suggestions whatsoever. If people want to know better, like the games I am interested in, that's why I'm asking people to friend me on Steam, or at least go to my Steam profile and look at my wish list. There's 1,800 games there. That gives a good look on things that have at least caught my eye. Now, since this channel is getting demonetized, let's see, can I do this? 2, 1, 0. Yes. 2, 2, 0. Actually will work. The only way I plan on trying to monetize this channel right now is by doing maybe monthly, but maybe just when there is an actual Steam sale, videos. I think there might be a new Humble Bundle. Humble Bundles might be the other way in which I go about making e-begging videos to, like, say, look, if you like this channel and you want to support me, you're not watching ads now, so gift me a game. Humble Bundles are cheap, and on Humble Bundles in particular, if you buy a Humble Bundle and you keep all the games you want and just send the codes to me through direct message on Twitter, then that works out for everybody. Steam sales, it's a little bit different. You actually, I think, do have to friend me, which is kind of hard to do. The other thing I was thinking is I would also certainly be wanting to take people's inventory items. If you're getting trading cards, if you're getting coupons, it's awkward to have to trade something for it, but if you offer me a bunch of trading cards, or heck, if you offer me even one trading card or a coupon, I will, for one gem, which is the lowest currency item there, I'll probably accept that trade. I just did an experimental offer a similar way because I have Bayonetta for 50% off right now. So if anybody wants a coupon for 50% off Bayonetta, since I already own it, friend me on Steam, make that offer, if you want any of the other coupons I have, make that trade offer. I'm going to be very flexible on trade offers. But if people just have a bunch of trading cards and they don't care about that you can give them to me and I will use them to make more badges so my Steam level goes up, so I can friend more people, which is kind of important for somebody who wants a lot of people on Steam to friend them. When the next Steam sale happens, we'll for the most part be covering completely different games, because you filtered the wish list with the new filter options in such a way that we were only looking at things that were on discount, and it took forever, I know that, but next sale, which will probably the May the 4th be with you sale, which will be mostly focused around Star Wars. That'll probably be the next big one. Of course, there's always weekly sales for things that are like 75% off. At that one, it'll be slightly different. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if that's a pretty quick video, because only Star Wars games will be available, be on sale, and I have most of the Star Wars things anyways. Oops, healed the wrong thing. Let's move on though. We've talked about sales and e-begging enough. Apparently Atari is entering the cryptocurrency business with Atari and Pong tokens. So we kind of already talked about that, but they came out with some more information. It all sounds completely ridiculous. Like, you're gonna be cryptocurrency, crypto mining, probably some other cryptocurrency that gets this corporation called Atari that's not actually Atari. So I wouldn't be surprised if you're actually mining bitcoins for somebody else using some kind of program. They're giving you a worthless Atari coin or Pong coins because they're making two currencies to really confuse things. And at the end of the day, I think they're probably still going to go out of business. So, like, we still don't really have like no reason whatsoever to get into that. Like, everybody's always looking for the next big thing, and cryptocurrency is not the next big thing. It was the next big thing 8 years ago, but there isn't going to be a new cryptocurrency. There's going to be something that nobody has ever even thought about before. Just playing cards here. Let's see. After you cast 3 spells in a turn, summon a 5/5 dragon, which I assume means if I play this right now, that's not going to summon another dragon. No, it's going to make you. It's going to start you all over again. I need to zoom in on this page so I can read it. So Revolution Software, creators of the Broken Sword series, which sadly has been kind of a disappointment of a series. I really enjoyed the original version of 1 or 2, but the remakes change how 1 and 2 play in very strange ways, making Wars 3, 4, and 5 each pretty bad. So to go through 5 games and not like any of them is at the end of the run through is not great. And Broken Sword is kind of memorable. It's kind of an important historical point and click adventure. So their news, let's see if we can skim this. One of the great things about being a regular contractor, like, as the days, weeks, months, and even years have passed since the release of Broken Sword 5, The Serpent's Curse, which it's not been maybe 2 years at most. I'm gonna get rid of this one. One question we've heard perhaps more than is, when's your next game due out? Blah 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 blah. As a small independent team, we're committed to making adventures our community deserves. I disagree, because I felt like Broken Sword 5 was really bad, and I feel like the small independent team that exists now is different from the small independent team that exists then, whether it's different people or whether it is literally just an instance of them getting old and not staying up with the times. Let's see. See, the best things take time, they say. See, from my perspective, Revolution Software kind of has to continuously make games, because I think they kind of spend all their money. And also, Broken Sword 3 and 4 aren't making money, I don't think, or as much money as they would like, because it was published by someone else. So it's only like 1 or 2. Like, so at the end of this, they're hinting at and they're talking like they're gonna announce plans. But mostly what this announcement says is, click this link to read a different announcement. And by the way, we're hiring. We're currently looking to add a talented, motivated producer in our team, someone who can join the studio and keep Revolution adventures going. If this sounds like you or someone you know, our jobs page. For more information, we'd love to hear from you. Once again, thank you for your patience, and we hope you find this news exciting. So whatever the guy is who was the producer before is out. That's really what this means, is somebody who used to be the person making the Broken Sword games, he's straight up decided to not do that anymore, which I guess I could use this.
Not too quickly.
How about we do this and then this,
Give that minion a turn to get ready.
and then in your turn. So yeah, that's kind of a bad thing and kind of a good thing. Like on one thought, yes, it means that whatever Revolution's next game is, if they manage to make a new game, because they're looking for a new producer, it will be different. I fully agree with that idea. It should be different, because what they have been doing has not been working, in my opinion. On the other hand, there is a considerable amount of risk that you will simply see Revolution fall apart. We might as well look at the job listing here. We were going to do job listings today. I don't have a ton of news anyways. So their current vacancy is a producer, and that's it. So it's not like the whole team has gotten the message and has left the place. It's just that the guy who's effectively at the head of the production, the actual creation of the art, he's not a CEO or manager, but he's actually somebody who's hands-on. Alright, they're looking for a producer, blah blah blah. They're looking for a passionate, motivated producer, so you have to be passionate and motivated, which is pretty typical. All these people getting discriminated against because they're not passionate or motivated. Like, most employees are not passionate or motivated at their jobs. Like, the last thing I think I'd ever want to do is eat a hamburger from somebody who was passionate and motivated to make that hamburger.
Speak to me.
Like, because they'd probably come out of the back kitchen and ask me how it tasted. Make it very awkward. The position is based in York, UNESCO City of Media Arts. What? Where's York? Where's UNESCO? Like, show me where York is, Google. I guess I can't search just York. I guess I have to search all of this.
I am the blade of the goddess.
City of York Council. Show me where this is on the map. Alright, zoom out now. Clifton, York, Fulham, Kensington, New Enswick. What country is this? Is this France? Leeds, Sheffield, Manchester. It's in the UK. Okay, that makes sense. York, UK. So that is the northeastern part of England, I suppose. Sort of. It's kind of the Middle Eastern part of England. So now at least we know where it is. The offices are located in the shambles, the iconic medieval street at the center of the city. It seems like this entire city is a tourist trap for artists. I don't know what you would call that. You must be for this job. This is a producer job, and by the way, there's only 5 things listed. I've seen job listings for entry-level jobs that have like 50 things listed. This one's gonna win the award for the shortest requirements. But I guess if you're just a producer, you've got to be able to prove your worth not by specifically listed requirements. You have to be able to prove your worth by, can you actually get the job done? So you would assume, have me not actually reading these requirements, one of them must be that you can prove that you can take a project from beginning to end and be a good leader and help the teams be more productive. Things like that.
Job's done.
Let's see. You must be personal, a team player, a team manager, whose temperament will help create a welcoming environment in which all team members feel part of the project. Let's see. You must have extensive agile project management experience. I don't know what agile project management is. Never been a manager myself. Let's see, what is agile project management?
Job's done.
It seems like it's a software. But I mean, this what I'm seeing when I Google Agile Project Management might not even be the right thing. It seems like a software. It seems like you're gonna be using some kind of software to manage your employees, and there's a decent amount of it. Using Jira, I have heard of Jira, and experiencing games development environment. You must be a great communicator both verbally and writing. You must either live or be prepared to move within an easy commute of York to work at the studio. This contract would run over the period of a project development, subject to a probationary period with option to extend following projects. As we are a small team, you must be flexible and happy to take responsibilities for a wide range of tasks and roles. If you're interested in being part of the highly skilled team who are working on the original narrative-based games in a creative atmosphere and meet these criteria, please send your CV with salary expectation to jobs@revolution.co.uk with the subject line producer role application. Like, they really are gonna look at everybody, which is kind of cool. Like, if you say were a writer at a video game in the US or anywhere in the world, I suppose, or in some other way were a senior producer, not quite producer level, but if you were a senior programmer or an artist, if you had a story in your mind, that being said, I guess maybe you may get this producer role and find that they've already written a story and it's Broken Sword 6 and they already have all the key points and they just want you to keep all of the other employees in line. It is also possible that this producer role might be intentionally a poison pill. They hire a new guy to be the producer who they know is not really qualified. He runs the place into the ground and gets all the other employees to quit because, while it's not as hard as it is in some other European countries to fire people or lay off people, it's still a lot more difficult in the UK to fire or lay off people than it is, say, in any of the Asian countries or even the United States, or half of the United States that don't have unions. So it with such small requirements, they want a lot of people. It will be only time that tells whether they pick the right person to make a good game or not. If I was qualified, I would take a producer role in this company, but I would prefer to take a writing role. I would prefer to try and put that story forward. That being said, if I took the writing role, then I couldn't really complain about the puzzles, which were a big problem in Broken Sword 5. And if I took a programming or puzzle role, where if I took the job that was in charge of making the puzzles, I probably wouldn't be able to complain about the writing. And so there's kind of, the producer would be the only person who's in charge of everything, and that might be the best move. It's really a non-announcement though. The only reason I even got that announcement is because I follow Revolution Software. I follow a decent number of video game makers, and it's a mixed bag. Some of them kind of never post anything on their Twitter, which is fine. Like, don't flood my Twitter with garbage. Some of them do flood my Twitter with garbage and usually get muted. And some of them flood Twitter with like just advertisements for their own game. Some of them use it completely as their own personal Twitter and retweet other people's. It's a real weird mix. People still, I guess, haven't figured out how to run a professional company's Twitter thing. And then you also run into instances where there's if it's a Japanese company that has subsidiaries in Europe and the US and everywhere else, they might have 5 different branch Twitter addresses, and on top of that, if it's something like Capcom or Konami, they might have a Twitter address specifically for each game.
Someday I'll be just like you.
And I generally don't follow games because that clearly, if I'm following the Borderlands Twitter account, I'm only going to get Twitter notifications about Borderlands then, which I don't see a need to do that. I suppose, speaking of Twitter, Randy Pitchford retweeted, Randy Pitchford, the CEO of Borderlands, retweeted some kind of viral thing that I don't fully believe is going to actually get coordinated and run, where a bunch of students are planning on walking out of school to protest a lack of protection from gun violence at schools. It may have been a joke. Maybe they scheduled it. No, the Twitter specifically said no time or date had been even scheduled yet. So, like, one, that doesn't sound safe. A bunch of students walking out of the school. 2, it sounds crazy. It's either the teachers are gonna get behind it too, and they're gonna turn a blind eye and walk out with the students, or a few students are gonna try it and get in trouble. In the end, it's not going to really accomplish much of anything. Moving back to video games, there are 5 major changes coming to Rainbow Six Siege, and from what I saw, it seems like they have no intention to make a sequel, which is totally believable. Like, it seems pretty obvious that with Rainbow Six Siege, they don't want to make another Splinter Cell style game, and you barely even recall here that this is a Splinter Cell style game, and instead they just want to continuously add less work, let's not say the bare minimum of work, but less work to the same game, and try to have this established multiplayer game with a 10-year plan that I don't think is going to really work that well, because frankly I don't find the game that good. Yeah, I should also mention that a new point-and-click adventure game, Dog Mendoza, is and Pizza Boy started airing today on my channel. So today is the day if you want to watch it every weekday as it goes. Today's the day to hop on. If you're not willing to hear some spoilers, mute it for a moment, but I will say I was pretty disappointed in that game. It felt like it had so much potential being based off a comic book. If I was into comic books still and hadn't had a horrible experience trying to read DC comics, I very possibly would consider well, I would very possibly consider reading the comic book that it's based off, but as it is, as a game, it's very lacking. Let's see what the Rainbow Six Siege add-ons for They're gonna add attachments for everyone. You're gonna have a pick up and ban, whatever. They have a new system for banning people. You're going to get a facelift at the Hereford base. Let's see, can I play all these? This. And this. And this. What else are they gonna do? They're going to buff maps. I'm just really speed running through this because I really don't care about it. And there are going to be more operators for the starter pack people. Also remember that Rainbow Six Siege is raising the price for everybody who's not oh, the pick and ban system is, I think, more where you pick who you want to play as and ban characters who you don't want to play as. Which that makes a little bit of sense. Like, yeah, most important thing to remember, Rainbow Six Siege, raising the price on a game that at best is doing medium, in my opinion. It's not Overwatch. It's not doing it. The Tomb Raider movie is about out, and so I'm hoping that that gets some more views on my Rise of the Tomb Raider coverage, which I'm doing right now. Or I did recently. It may actually be over. And for part of that,
Thank you.
there's apparently a new Tomb Raider Barbie that's coming out. Let's see. Right now is the New York Toy Show, and toys are a big deal in movie and TV tie-ins. For instance, Star Trek Discovery has no toys, from what I've heard, coming out this year, and so that's going to hurt sales. Star Wars almost certainly will have toys. I know Lego just revealed a remake, a redoing of a previously existing Harry Potter set, so they're going to reintroduce the Harry Potter toys. Barbie here, her face is different, I think. That doesn't look like Barbie in a Tomb Raider outfit. It looks like the actress playing Tomb Raider in a new movie. She's wearing a gray tank top, and she has a white bandage on her left arm and a white bandage on her right leg. She's wearing full-length jeans. Barbie's arms and legs look a little long. I think probably they're keeping the bust size a little smaller too compared to the arms and legs. Her head seems way too big. She's wearing just gray jeans and a belt and black boots. It's not a super iconic outfit, honestly, for the Lara Croft series. She's holding a ice climbing pickaxe, which we've seen in the reboots of the series. She seems to have some tape on both of her hands too, to one would assume help with climbing. And this is selling for about $30, and I wonder how many of these end up in Barbie collectors' hands of any gender. I'm not gonna say just girls or guys, and how many of them actually end up in children's hands of any gender. But I would find it pretty boring. It doesn't seem like it's got too much to do there. And Yeah, I don't know how you do that any better, because the video game of Tomb Raider, in part, in its reboots, is Warcraft running around with guns. She doesn't have any guns in these toys. Running, jumping, climbing, breaking chests with her pickaxe open, which would be a little violent too. Once all of that is taken out, you could maybe have a puzzle set. Let's do overload cards. Do we have a deck with overload cards? We have a Murloc. Are there overload cards in this? A couple. Are there overload cards in this? No. Let's get rid of this and make a new overload deck. With these relatively new accounts, we're still doing a lot of work. A lot of work to figure out what we're supposed to, what we need, what we don't need. Let's see, overload, overload, overload. So this is only gonna fill 21 of the 31 things, but that's fine. We'll just come back here and pick some. Freeze and increase the attack. Deal 1 damage to everybody. And cheap cards and that. And we'll just go ahead and call this overload so we know what it is. And can we convert it to standard? Yes, we can. Good. And play. It's pretty uncommon these days to have video game tie-in dolls so much. There is the now kind of wrapping up Minecraft Lego connection. Mattel makes dolls. There's a, I think, Mega Bloks Halo collection that's probably done now. Most games are so not child friendly anyways. The truth of it is that it's kind of hard to have any tie-ins. You could have some Last of Us dolls, but generally what they do is, instead of making cheaply priced, and $30 for a doll is not really cheaply priced even for a Barbie doll, but usually instead of making something relatively cheaply priced like a $30 toy, they instead make $70 to $300 statues and put them in digital deluxe editions. And those $70 to $300 statues, like they just announced a set for Assassin's Creed Origins, are not of really as high of a quality as you would suspect. This needs to be the last game, by the way, so we can break it up. Not last game of the stream, but last game for this recording. There's a new game project that's been announced called Busou Shinki, B-U-S-O-U S-H-I-N-K-I. It looks like a bunch of anime girls in frames or as robots. It's a continuation of a series, apparently. It's important, I think, to call them frames and not like mobile suits or Gundams, because it really is just covering their arms and legs, and then in many instances it's not covering their torso at all. Let's see. Like Busou Shinki started in 2006 as an action figure line that fused robot girls called God Princesses with freely customizable weapons. Oh, so it's kind of a mix and match idea. So the game series started April 2007 with Busou Shinki Battle Rondo, which was developed for the Shinki Net online game service and followed by a PSP title, Busou Shinki Battle Masters and Busou Shinki Battle Masters MK.2 in 2010 and 2011 respectively. So if you're old enough or happen to just have ever seen BattleBots, it's kind of an evolution of that, except for instead of BattleBots being robots and child-friendly, they've taken all the child-friendliness out of this, and this is straight up anime girls in bikinis from the one screenshot I see. Another game that once it comes out, if it came out to PC, which I doubt it will, I wouldn't be surprised if it's just one last PSP or Switch game that only comes out to Japan. It's yet another thing that I probably couldn't ever cover on YouTube. By the way, as I was covering games, just the only thing on the screen was literally Steam's webpage. As I was going through the wish list and I was talking, I mentioned how even if you just have in your videos an image of an anime girl, and even if she's fully clothed, YouTube will often demonetize that. Although I guess that doesn't matter going forward, or maybe it doesn't matter. So, as I'm saying that, when I looked at that live stream got demonetized. So I can't 100% say it's because of that. It might have been because I was calling some of the romance visual novel sex games. And perhaps saying the phrase sex enough times is enough to get you demonetized. Perhaps saying sex and having anime girls on there. It seems like I've heard other YouTubers say that they say phrases like, an electrician guy I watch says every time he says the phrase multimeter, it gets demonetized. I think PewDiePie says every time he says like mustard, it gets demonetized. Like some really crazy stuff, and they never fixed that, and they just moved forward. Really wasn't trying to make ad revenue on that video. I'm just trying to get it visible. Speaking of visibility, I brought back something I haven't done for about a year, putting HD 1080p 60 frames per second at the end of videos. You won't see it on pre-recorded things for many months, at least 4 months, but I think I want to go back to that. I looked at the top most viewed videos online, and they all did have that. Does that mean that having HD 1080p 60 frames per second on the video gets it a few more views or a lot more views? I'm not 100% sure. Like, it very possibly just is a factor in it very possibly is just a case of the videos that I labeled like that are older videos, and that's why they have more views. I don't know. So, but it's so hard to get any kind of feedback at all. And YouTube is teasing like they're going to add a new feature that might give you some instant feedback for things like that, but it's not really going to happen. Here we go. that wasn't the best way to play.
Job's done.
That was not the best way to play at all. A game called Compile Heart has a mysterious countdown website that they launched, so apparently there's a new title in the works. The countdown ends February 22nd. Compile Heart being another Japanese game. I think it's a visual novel, but you know, when I looked at my wish list of all the anime girl looking games that I thought were visual novels, most of them aren't actually visual novels. They're RPGs. They're something else to them that changes it a little bit. I probably didn't wish list anything that's a straight up visual novel. PC Gamer has an article called P-Cube's Indie Showcase as a colorful explosion of neat looking games. That's P, capital Q, U-B apostrophe S. So I guess the indie jam was called P-Cube. I don't 100% know what to attribute this to, but I've started getting the feeling that video game creators should not go to these indie jams. Like, I'm getting that really awkward feeling that they're wasting their time, and the indie jams are just usually another opportunity for them to stay in their echo chamber. Let's see. There's a video here talking about the 4 games that they showed off and I think made during this indie jam. One is called Nippon Marathon, billed as a Takeshi's Castle meets Micro Machines. That doesn't fully make sense. And next one is called Raze, described as 3D Sonic meets Super Meat Boy by way of 3D bit rip turnip runner. Here's a great example. It's like, you're going to describe all of your games based on other games. That is literally the definition of echo chamber. And it's not, they're not describing their games as this is a high-speed running game in a 3D environment with platforming. They're saying this is 3D Sonic with Super Meat Boy and 3D bit trip running. The next game is Stay, a retro-styled indie game about a kidnappee who's locked in a trap room. That sounds political, but I mean, it also sounds interesting. So if you can tell me an interesting story with a political bent, I'll be cool. If you kind of just beat me over the head with a political agenda, I'm not interested. And then the last one is called Potago, a neat-looking 2D game-making tool. And one of the things they made was a game-making tool. Let's see. Keep on playing these cards. Actually, now is the time to wrap up. And I can't get these videos to play at all. Like, they don't want to play. So, I don't know what's going on there. Like, I can hover over the video and see the thumbnails, but I don't think this is a YouTube video is the thing. I think there's some embedding going on here. So none of those games, of those 4 games, sound that interesting. Hopefully there will be more news if they are more interesting. One of the games in my Steam wishlist was a game that was made at an indie jam, and for that reason I have it on the list. That being said, it It's not a really great game. It's alright to pay 99 cents for it, but by default it's $10. Just like Virginia is $10, and I'm like, some of these games get some coverage. They get the news reporters to talk about them, and then they totally use that name recognition to overcharge. And overcharging, in my opinion, is a major problem in the video game industry. Just a lot of games out there that want $60 for something that from day one should have been $10. A lot of games that are even 90% or more off during Steam sales, still not really worth buying because they're so marked up and they're so old. Anyways, that's it for this recording. Stay tuned if you're watching live. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you like what I'm doing and want to support me, give me a game on Steam. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.